Hi guys, how's it going? I wanted to walk you through the examples from the discussion post for today, just in case you wanted another go over of the Marxist lens. So in the first example, we have a sample post. This is kind of capturing the perspective of what would be considered the oppressors in the text, right? So if you remember, Marx focuses on the role of the proletariat, the aristocracy, and the bourgeoisie. The aristocracy and the bourgeoisie are the wealthy. They're the ones who control government, they control laws, they control systems, whereas the proletariat are the poor, they're the working class, they're the oppressed in society. So in the first example, we have a view from the oppressors who are talking about the way the refugees are swarming the beaches in Greece, complaining that it's impacting their businesses. Okay, so here we have what seems like the oppressors, those business owners who are wealthy and have control, whereas the refugees are poor and they do not have any power. In the response, we start to unpack that a little bit more. In the response, we talk about how a small business owner is really going to be part of the proletariat. So even though in this example they're an oppressor over the refugees, in the broader structure of society, a small business owner doesn't really have much power, right? And so Karl Marx would argue that there's this false dichotomy, this false tension between middle class, we'll say middle class small business owners and refugees, where it looks like one has more power than the other in society, and to some extent that is true, but ultimately that's serving as a distraction from the real powers in society, the aristocracy and the bourgeoisie. They're the ones who actually have control over the laws. They're the ones who have control over the financial sector. They're the ones who have control over if this small business owner is going to get a loan or not, right? They're the ones who have control over if the military is going to police the refugees, right? And so Marx would argue that there's a false tension here, where it looks like the small business owner is really an oppressor, but they're just as oppressed as the refugees in the broader scheme of the system, because it's really the aristocracy and the bourgeoisie who control the laws, who control all the actual wealth in society, and they're the ones who want this tension to continue, right? Because as long as people are in the proletariat are fighting against each other, they're not uniting and fighting against the wealthy. And so this dynamic is important to recognize because it shows that even though there is a hierarchy where refugees are at the bottom and small business owners are maybe somewhere in the middle, ultimately none of that compares to the power that the aristocracy and the bourgeoisie have. And so even though it looks like someone who owns a restaurant in Greece on the beach has power, ultimately that power is secondary to the people. It's not even close to secondary. It's like really low on the scale when it comes to the true powers of society. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to walk you through this example to explain it a little bit more and help you unpack the theory a little bit. If you have questions, feel free to shoot me an email, set up office hours, Skype chat, whatever works for you.